This episode of Simple Civics Greenville County is brought to you by Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, providing free books to children 0 to 5 throughout Greenville County. To sign up, visit greenvillefirststeps.org/free books. That's greenvillefirststeps.org/free books.
Ask just about any candidate for office or resident what is on their minds, and you will hear the same word again and again: growth. It turns out that worry and opportunity isn't unique to us here in the upstate. It's one of the few things uniting people across the entire state of South Carolina, no matter their party. I'm Katy Smith with Greater Good Greenville, and on this episode of Simple Civics Greenville County, I talk with Vincent Sheheen, the mayor of Camden, South Carolina. Vincent brings a rare vantage point to this conversation. Vincent spent 2 decades in state government as a member of the House and the Senate. He ran for governor of South Carolina, and then he did something unusual by moving from the Statehouse to City Hall. He's also an attorney and the author of a brand new book, The Concise Guide to South Carolina State Government, published by the University of South Carolina Press. Vincent and I dig into what it's like to trade big statewide battles for the tangible, walk-out-your-door work of running a city, why managing growth is the hardest puzzle he faces, and how Camden is leaning into downtown development to avoid becoming Sprawl Central. Along the way, he helps untangle who actually does what across our state, county, and city governments, including the surprising reason your pothole might be the state's problem and not your mayor's. Take a listen so you can better understand how the layers of government fit together and pick up a few ideas about growth that cut across party lines, and maybe plan a weekend trip to one of South Carolina's oldest cities. And if you want to become an expert on your own state, you'll find a link to Vincent's book in the show notes. Mayor Sheheen, thanks so much for bringing your unique experience and perspective to the Simple Civics podcast to look at the House, Senate, and municipal office, which I suspect is a rare, if not singular, experience. Are there others who've gone from the State House to City Hall?
Yeah, I'm sure it's happened before. To me, it's kind of like going from the U.S. Senate to being the governor, right? Like, people who serve in the U.S. Senate and then become governor always say they have way much more fun being the governor, and it's kind of like that for me, going from the state Senate to being the mayor of the city of Camden. Mayor McElveen, who used to be the mayor of Sumter, did this. He was in the state house, and then he became the mayor of Sumter, and he and his family always told me how much fun it was. But yeah, but in a way, it's been really good. This is the right order for me to do it. I love Camden. I wanted to be the mayor of Camden. When I was in the state Senate, I wanted to be the mayor of Camden. And the best thing is that because of my statewide experience, I have the knowledge and the peer group that I can really do great things in Camden, that if I had done the reverse, I wouldn't have been able to, if that makes sense, right? Like I know how to do things on the state level, and that helps the city of Camden.
So, I mean, you have run multi-million-dollar gubernatorial campaigns. You've debated and been a part of really massive policy changes in the State House. And you're dealing now with those local realities of zoning and, downtown parking disputes or economic development in a downtown rural-ish community. Is it harder? Is it easier? How would you characterize it?
I would characterize it as more tangible and rewarding. As on the state level, I like to fight the big battles. I pushed for 4-year-old kindergarten across the state of South Carolina successfully. It took me and others many years. I was the chief sponsor that brought down the Confederate flag. I was the architect of the 2014 Government Restructuring Act, and I sponsored it and passed it. I was big into land conservation. So I always tackled the really big things, but that was meaningful, but you couldn't touch it and feel it, maybe with the exception of the Confederate flag coming down. And again, that was symbolic, right? So being the mayor is loads of fun for a number of reasons. I'll give you the 2 most important, but the third is that this is tangible. I can walk out there and I can see us building a new boutique hotel in partnership with private developers. I can see the streetscaping projects that improve the community. I can watch my police pull over 18-wheelers that are violating our truck ordinance and coming right down Main Street, right? So they're not coming anymore. I can see diners on the streets and the cool restaurants and bars that we have helped to facilitate opening, and the nightlife that has come here. And I'm from here, my family's from here, and it feels good, and it is just a wonderful feeling to see all that happen.
That is so wonderful. Well, you're talking about really neat growth opportunities in Camden. And here I sit in Greenville, and concerns about growth are the main thing that we hear about from every candidate.
I think that's true across the state. I really would love our state officials to just say stop, frankly. We don't need any more people. So we actually have the same problem. I always say it's a blessing and it's a problem and it's an opportunity and a problem. And so as soon as I was elected, we had a moratorium on residential housing developments. We did that for about a year while we rewrote our entire zoning and land use code. And our county is now doing that as well. We have good partners on the county level. And we're trying to make it a positive. And so here's what we're doing. We are disincentivizing sprawling neighborhoods, and we are incentivizing downtown development. If you think about Greenville, it's a great way to think about it. When I'm in Greenville, which I love coming, I think of downtown. I'm like, this is great. It's walkable. People are enjoying it. There's been thought. And then when I look at the county, I think, wow, this is turning into sprawl central. And so what we're trying to do is to avoid that. We're trying to say we know growth's coming. We want it to be reasonable. We don't want to just, turn into Lexington County, but we also want it to be enjoyable. So we want it to be downtown. We're doing townhomes downtown. We are making it easy to build, reasonable apartments downtown. We are encouraging downtown growth in the urban core area where young and old can live, and it'll be cool and enjoy yourselves. And we don't need a bunch of cookie cutter neighborhoods anymore.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Well, you have had the role of being a state senator and a member of the House of Representatives. You've been a candidate for governor. I think people get really confused about who does what. I don't understand what the governor does versus the General Assembly versus my local county council or city council. Help people understand in a general way, what do the different groups do? The very basics, and what tensions exist between them.
And then they can go online to USC Press and buy my new book, The Concise Guide to South Carolina, which explains it in detail. First thing I'll tell you, though, is, you know what? The voters and the constituents are really never going to completely understand it. So people like me, my job is when they come to me to figure out how to fix the problem, even if I'm not the one who's fixing it, right? So first of all, find somebody that's a doer that you trust and interact with them. And if it's your senator or your mayor or whoever, take it to them and ask them to help you navigate the maze of government. But essentially, government works like this. Your city is there to run your city police force, if they have a police force, city fire department, if they have a fire department. They are there to make local zoning ordinances. This is really important and one of the most important things that city governments do. And then on the county level, outside of the city, they do similar things, right? They have sheriff's department. They do zoning. Here in the city of Camden, we're a little bit of an outlier. We actually have an electric company. We are the power company. But many cities operate water companies and sewer companies, and then some counties do as well. So you have these local services on the city and the county level. The thing the city and the county don't do much of, which I think people get confused of, is roads. In South Carolina, we have one of the largest state road systems in the country because the state, due to historical reasons, owns our roads. So even the roads that go through the city are probably state roads. So you're going to call your state senator and your state house member about roads, usually not your mayor and your state council.
I love it. Well, we've done a couple episodes, which we'll flag in the show notes, about a lot of those questions. What if I have a pothole? Who do I call? How does zoning work? Some of those deeper answers. But I do want to kind of double click on something Vincent said about his incredible book, which you heard about in the intro, but I can't recommend enough. The Concise Guide to South Carolina State Government, a fantastic resource that we'll put a link to in the show notes as well. We'll talk more about if any particular challenges that you or you're seeing in the state about this growth.
It's very interesting, Katie. Politically, we're so divided in this country and in the state, but this issue of growth cuts across partisan politics in a way I've not seen much of anything. It doesn't matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat or independent. The number one thing I hear from constituents is they are concerned about this overwhelming population growth that is occurring in the state. And that's really interesting to think about. It's a real human connection. And it's one of the things that cuts through the partisanship. And that's true here in my county, where we have both Democrats and Republicans, and we're all working together to try to solve. And independents like me, who's a nonpartisan elected official. But I'll tell you this, I'm doing many things in Camden, and I'm facing many issues. The hardest one to figure out is managing growth. It's really hard because you don't want to just say people can't build, because then people can't afford the houses anymore because you've constrained the growth of housing. But you also don't want to say build anywhere and build as much as you want, because then you lose this amazing lifestyle that we have. And in Camden, it's a really unique lifestyle, and I don't want it to just be swallowed up. So it's really hard. I'm not gonna lie. That's the hardest thing for me to figure out, is how to strike the balance. And we face that issue every day.
Gosh, well, I was hoping you were going to give us the magic bullet, but I think the wonderful thing that I heard in it is that because it cuts across party, demographic, it is an opportunity for us to all roll up our sleeves and figure out a vision together.
It is. And I had in-laws come from Atlanta, and they said, South Carolina's still beautiful. And it struck me that part of that is because we didn't develop as quickly. Atlanta developed out. We've seen Charlotte area develop out, and of course the Northeast developed out. So we've had time to see how it can be done wrong. And I think my best advice is avoid sprawl. Avoid sprawl as much as you can. Preserve these wonderful spaces we have, and then figure out how to allow growth in more urban settings. And that's what we're striving to do. But look, anywhere can look like anywhere interstate America, right? Anywhere can look like, suburban Atlanta. And let's figure out how not to look like suburban Atlanta.
Okay, well then, speaking of special places, tell us about Camden, because I bet there are people who are lifelong Greenville County residents who've never been there, and newcomers who want to explore this beautiful state. So tell us why we should come and what we should do.
You should do it. Well, it's the oldest inland city in South Carolina. It's one of the oldest cities in South Carolina, like Beaufort, Charleston, or Georgetown. And we are known for several things. We're known for our equine industry, our horse racing. And if you haven't been to the Carolina Cup in the spring or the Colonial Cup in the fall, you got to come. Tens of thousands of people come. It is a wonderful party and fun and horses. The other thing we're really known for, and we've spent a lot of time promoting this, and I have as well, is our Revolutionary War history. And Katy, here's what happened. Because we were so consumed with the Civil War, and the Northern folks were so consumed with what happened during the Civil War, our role in the Revolutionary War was really forgotten. And South Carolina is where it happened. The Revolutionary War started in Massachusetts, of course, and it ended in Virginia. But the untold story, it was won right here in South Carolina, and a big part of that was in Camden. So we have preserved several battle sites, the Battle of Camden site, the Battle of Hobkirk Hill site, and we have a historic Camden Revolutionary War Visitor Center, which we built for about $7 million, which is as beautiful as any visitor center or museum that you will see related to the Revolutionary War anywhere in America. It's as good as anything you'll see in Boston. And it's right off the interstate. And then when you come to the visitor center and learn about the Revolutionary War in the South, you can go visit these battle sites and see what happened. We've got really cool restaurants and bars and social scene downtown. And, we were rated as a Hallmark city recently, and one of the best small town Christmas destinations in America. It's just a cool place to come hang out. We're building a boutique hotel with 50 rooms right under our historic clock tower. You can come and we're a destination. We're a weekend destination now. We're a overnight destination. If you want to go to a small city that still has history, outdoor living, we've got an amazing river, the Wateree River. You can kayak on. We've got hiking trails. It's just, it's rare. We're blessed.
What's the best thing about being the mayor of Camden?
Katy, I spent 20 years in state government, which meant I drove all over the state of South Carolina. The two very best things about being the mayor are, number one, every meeting I have is 2 minutes from my home. I mean, it's really wonderful. And the second thing is a little less intuitive, but I think it's important. And that is that many local governments, including the city of Camden, are nonpartisan. And I spent 20 years where I knew at least 50% of the people were going to be against whatever I said simply because I had a letter by my name. And it didn't matter what the merits of a position were. And being the mayor and being a nonpartisan elected official is just life-altering. When I walk down the street, people just say thank you. And people don't judge you by what party you're in. And so you don't get caught up in all the garbage. And that is just really a blessing. It's a lot of fun to be a nonpartisan elected official in your own community.
That is beautiful. Well, I thank you for all that you have done in the state. And I thank you for the wonderful community you're making for your residents in Camden and for visitors, future ones like me who can't wait to come. Well, I am very grateful to you for joining us and really hope that you folks listening will click on the link to the book and get it so you can be an expert about your state. And Vincent, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks, and come visit us here in the city of Camden, right off of Interstate 20.
Hi, Simple Civics Greenville County listeners, Nathaniel here. If you've made it this far, then we think you'll really love our newsletter. Sign up for bonus content, updates, and more right in your inbox. Look for the link in the description that says newsletter to sign up, or visit us at simplecivicsgreenvillecounty.org. Find the link in the menu that says newsletter and sign up there. We'll see you again next week.